Who wants to have a good experience today? Anyone want to have a good experience? Who wants to have a great experience? Yes. Okay. So here are a couple of things about having a great experience. Playing full on. Those of you who've got your cameras on, who aren't multitasking in the background, I love you. You're amazing. And you will get more out of this than people, studies show, than people who sit quietly behind the black camera. So I'm inviting all of you with that to turn on your cameras if you're up for it. Christina and I really, as we were envisioning what today was going to be like, we really wanted to make this an experience because nobody wants to sit around and have people talking at them. So there's going to be a tiny bit of that because we want to set the tone for you. So I'm going to talk for about 5 minutes, give you a little bit of background about who I am and what we're going to do. And then we're going to dive in, and I'm going to be asking for volunteers because this is all about uncovering your personal blocks to money and success. And so I'm going to be asking for volunteers. Who wants to jump in and play a little game with me to find your personal? I'm Deberah Bringelson, and I want to really invite you to play full on today. And I want to share with you some things that I know. I've been doing what I do for the last 30 or so years. I've been teaching it for about 15 years. And here's what I know that I want you to know. For the past 30 years, I've perfected this fast, really effective. I know it's effective because I'm using it with CEOs and people in 17 countries around the world, helping them to massively grow their revenue. Some of them are in the room today. I have promised them, I will not put them on the spot, but I have invited them to share their experiences with you if they would like to do. But I really want you to get control of your money and your life and have the experience like what I have more than one CEO who literally have increased their revenue more than 3,000% in 12 months. I mean, think about what you're making right now and then multiply it by 3,000%. How would that feel to you? This is a formula, what we're going to talk about today, that even Richard Branson was wowed by it. He was a very hard no way, like I'm not doing business with you. And he went from that, because of what I'm going to teach you, he went from that to signing a deal with annual revenue of over $300 million. And by the way, do you know how much I spent to get him to do that? $80. I've used this formula that we're going to talk about for 30 years with companies all over the world. And it's led to, a few cool things, being recognized as the most influential woman in business in Silicon Valley and some other things that really aren't all that important. But something else that I want you to understand about what we're going to talk about today, these are not one-shot wonders. They make me crazy. The thing, well, you need this widget, or you need this app, or you need this one thing. No. What you need is a holistic approach to solving and pulling out the weeds that are in your money garden at the root. It's got to be comprehensive. One-shot wonders rarely work. So I understand that if you don't have the revenue you need, it puts a lot of stress on you. It causes complaining buyers in your business, problems with your family. And what we're going to talk about is what my fellow business consultants around the world used to jokingly call Deborah's secret sauce. They used to make fun of me all the time until they saw how it worked. So here's just some facts to understand. The number one cause of stress among people around the world is lack of money. And the number one cause of illness, according to the Medical Association, is stress. It increases your risk of cancer by 200%, heart attack by 100%, and premature death by 20%. We are more stressed than ever. And I've been talking with people who have said people are feeling frantic. They're feeling the pressure, and a lot of it worldwide is money pressure. Business leaders are saying that their stress levels have gone up dramatically in the past year. And as you're trying to negotiate your way out of this, one of the things that's really important to understand, especially if you're a CEO and you're running your business, stress actually constricts your brain. Your brain shrinks when you're under stress. That's a fact. That's not just something that I think I believe. That's actually a fact. It constricts your brain, and that causes you to make poor decisions. Good. And it causes you to play small. According to Psychology Today, you're less likely to jump in and make those kinds of decisions that are going to solve your problems. And by the way, ladies, money stress has a greater impact on us than it does our male counterparts. And this is important for us, for our lives and for our businesses, but it really affects our children. Did you know that children, when they're surveyed, they say the real stress that they have in their life, the problem that they have, is that they're picking up their parents' stress. So this is affecting every single part of their lives. And it's that money stress that's the biggest part of it. So here's something to understand. Our bodies are little radios, both receivers and emitters. So you're emitting a frequency that's going out into the world. And here's a really great example. Let's say you're in a sales situation and you're internally terrified. I've got to make this sale. I've got to pay the mortgage. I've got to feed my kids or pay college tuition or insurance or whatever. And you've got all that going on inside. Now on the outside, you're, hi, I've got a really great product. I've got a really great service. I can change your life. What happens is that the person you're talking to will see the smile on your face and hear your words, but they will be feeling the energy and the frequency that you're emitting, that you're putting out into the world. And what will happen is they won't trust you. They won't know why they don't trust you, but they won't trust you. So if you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, or if you've got a team of people who are working for you, if that's going on, that could be something that is really affecting your ability to bring in revenue. So if you don't have the money and the success that you want, you're blocking it. All right, well, how are you doing that? And how do you get out of it? The real problem is you've been lied to. And you're living those lies every day. You may not even know that you're living those lies, and they're blocking your ability to have the money and the life that you deserve. So ask yourself, are you sick and tired of the grind? Do you feel like you're working just to pay bills? And even when you're out, like having fun, this used to be me. I would be out doing something fun, taking my daughter to Disneyland or something like that. But there would always be that tinge of stress. It's like, oh my gosh, this is more expensive than I thought it was going to be, or I'm not working or whatever. So even when you're supposed to be having fun, do you ever feel that tinge of stress kind of underneath? Do you believe the lies that a lot of us have been taught? Think about the things that you've been taught. You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Nonsense. There's no gain without pain. Or things that you've been taught, maybe, you know, your brother's the smart one, or don't be too, this is when I was taught, you know, don't ever beat the boys because then they won't like you. And there's nothing more important on the planet than getting a date, right? How many of those kinds of things were you told directly, or how many of them did you learn by observing other people? Like, for example, did your parents argue a lot about money? Maybe was there even violence in your house? That was how it was in my house. It was a constant terrorizing argument with a lot of violence about money. So what are some of the things that you've observed that affect how you behave even now? And you may not realize it, but unconsciously it's affecting your ability to bring in money. And we're going to talk about that specifically. So all of this stress and all of these lies that you've been taught are affecting your bank account. And a really big one that a lot of people tell me that they think is this really all there is to life? I mean, seriously? Maybe I don't want to stick around. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, I don't want to stick around. That was actually what got me started in trying to uncover what I've learned in metaphysics and quantum physics. When I was in high school, I grew up in a very violent, very abusive home. Any type of violence that you can imagine, any type of abuse you can imagine. And I literally was saying to myself, look, if this is what life's about, I don't need to be here any longer. And someone on a lark took me to see my first teacher. It wasn't, Deborah's in trouble and she's thinking about doing something drastic. It was more of a lark. But I found my first teacher and I started learning literally 40 years ago. And I started applying what I was learning, and my life started to change. And I said, okay, maybe there is some hope. Maybe I will stick around and I'll keep learning and I'll keep trying. And then as I got into the political world, I started working with politicians, a couple of presidents, and I could see changes happening in the work that I was doing and working with CEOs of companies. And you're going to hear about a few of those. And their lives started changing. So you don't have to allow the buried belief and the hidden trauma to destroy your happiness, as a lot of us do. We can eliminate them, and we can eliminate the stress that they cause. So if you want a life that's filled with health and wealth and fun and joy, you have to play by a different set of rules. You have to play by a different set of rules. And we're going to talk about that. So the formula that you're going to learn tonight, I've been testing every single thing myself. I've tested it on myself. I've tested it on my corporate clients, and as some of them are in the room tonight, on entrepreneurs and individuals. And I've even tested them on my own daughter, who knows how to eliminate her blocks to success and create the life that she wants. One CEO was pre-revenue, and within 5 weeks went from $0 to $67 million. How's that for eliminating money blocks? So we're going to get into this. I'm going to ask for some volunteers, but my goal for this training is for you to uncover your personal blocks to money, to clear those blocks. I want you to find out what they are, and I want you to clear those blocks, and I want you to claim your life of joy and prosperity and fun, to make more money, to live debt-free, fix your business, and maybe even have better sex. Believe me, that's a thing in this business. Okay, so there are two big things that are stopping you from having what you want, the life that you want, and the money that you deserve. And the first big issue that's in your way is that you've been lied to, and you're living those lies unconsciously. There are things that are happening in your life that you are reacting to over and over and over again in the same way, and you're getting the same results because you're living those lies, and those lies are destroying your happiness. Well, who's lying to you? And you know what? A lot of times the lies aren't coming to you from people who are intentionally trying to screw up your life. They're just passing along the lies that they learn. This beautiful person is an artist, and society lied to her. As an artist, we've all heard the, starving artist, artists don't make money until they're dead. We've all heard that nonsense, which is completely untrue. And she was living that life. Well, she learned how to uncover what her blocks to money and success were. And within one sale, she went through a process similar to what we're going to do. Within one sale, 36 hours or 36 hours later, she made one sale that was the largest sale she'd ever made in her life. She made more money in that sale than she had the entire previous year. You can find on my YouTube channel, you can find her saying it in her own words. The media and marketers lie to you. I'm so frustrated with, as I said, all these one-shot wonders that are out there. You know, the latest one is the AI stuff. Sure, it may have some value in some situations, but you know what? If you don't need a screwdriver to complete a task, you don't need to buy a screwdriver. Well, the same is true with all these one-shot wonders that people are trying to get you to buy. Stop and think, do I really need that? Well, this is Ryan. The media and marketers were lying to him, and he was, you know, buying all of these one-shot wonders. He stopped doing that. He learned to uncover his blocks to success. He speaks about this publicly, so I'm not divulging anything that's secret. He does a TED talk on it. He was also thinking about moving on from the planet. And he learned to pull those weeds. He started a new brick and mortar business. He moved from one state to another. He doubled his prices all at the same time. He increased his sale, doubled his prices, and also raised his sale rate by 30%. And he decided to celebrate by doing this really cool thing and renting a private island with a private chef in Belize. That's what happens when you pull the weeds. And one last example, this is Nadia, because we lie to ourselves. We all lie to ourselves. We've been hurt, we've been broken, we've been told things that are not true, and we tell ourselves lies. Nadia and I were working together. She'd gone 18 months with no revenue. Literally, her business made no money for 18 months. And I said to her, she was the very first woman that I came out of the closet with and said, okay, I think you're blocking money. Let's shift your energy. Let's shift your frequency, find out what it is, and stop this. So we did some work together. We met on a Friday, and we discovered that she had lied to herself. She came from a wealthy family, and she said, I don't deserve wealth. I don't deserve money because I've never done anything to get it. We cleared that belief. We cleared the frequency of that belief. Within 8 days after that, she made $298 million. She's also on my YouTube channel talking about this in her own words. And within a year, she went from $0 to $602 million. So ditching the lies is the biggest challenge that you have. And you know what? When you get to that, that's when things really get exciting. So there are 2 questions, and this is where we're going to do it live. Okay, so think about it if you're ready to volunteer. The first question is, what's under that? And I'd like a couple of people, depending on how much time we have, I'd like a couple of people to do this with me. I'll guide you through it. Everyone else can watch. James, I see your hand raised. Do you want to jump in with me? And then Janet, you can be next. So James, tell me.
Yes.
Now, I want to tell you all, I will cut you off. I love you so much that I will cut you off, and I do mean that. And I know that a couple of people, Tracy and Joan, can say, Deborah will cut you off. I'm not doing it to be rude, but here's the thing. If I let you get into story, you're recreating whatever has happened to you, and you're bringing it forward into your current experience, like it's brand new. So if there was some sort of trauma or something, you're creating it like it's brand new. I don't want you doing that. So if you get into story, just know I will cut you off, but it's because I love you. All right? Is that a deal?
Got it.
Okay.
Deal.
So tell us, James, tell us a little bit about your money situation, just so we have kind of a sense. You don't need to tell me like all of the details.
Currently, I am underwater as far as mortgage, credit card bills, and personal loans.
Okay. All right. So So one of the things that I will do is I will tune into your body so I can feel what's going on with you.
Okay.
But I want you to tune into your body too and tell me, what are you feeling when you talk about that?
Anxiety, fear, paralysis, and also just at paralysis leads to a defeatist attitude and procrastination.
Okay. And where are you feeling the anxiety and the fear?
Where?
Yes.
Chest gets tightened, body tighten up. Sometimes I feel it in the back of my neck and shoulders as well. And it's
Okay.
almost like I'm bracing myself for a blow.
Okay. What are you afraid of?
Um, Risk, being successful, if it
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Okay. And what happens? What's under that? What happens if it doesn't work?
Uh, Doom and gloom. Uh,
Tell me
yeah.
more about that. What's the doom and gloom?
Well, it's a lack of adequacy, um, failure.
And
Uh,
what happens if you fail?
well, the funny thing is, I know that to embrace failure leads to success, but it's
Yeah.
something that I quite haven't believed.
Okay. But tell me, if you fail, what are you afraid of?
Uh,
What will
Letting,
happen to you?
well, nothing, but I feel that I would let people down, others down.
Okay. Who would you let down?
Family, people who I want to help, people who may look up to me as an avatar for possibilities as well.
Can you remember the earliest time that you ever felt this way, that you would fail, you would let people down, when you felt this kind of fear, like the youngest age that you were?
I think I too came from an abusive home where all forms of abuse my mother faced. And I believe it was when I first saw my dad hit my mom. And yes,
Okay. Tell me when that experience happened and you felt all that fear. What were you afraid of in that moment?
hmm.
Were you
I
afraid that your mom was going to die or that you might die?
Yes, I was afraid of confronting my father to tell him that it wasn't okay what he did.
Okay. And what were you afraid would happen if you confronted him? How old were you?
Probably about 6 or 7.
Okay. So when we're about 7 or under, could be 8, could be 6, but 7 or under, we are all a sponge. We don't have the ability to discern reality from not reality. Everything is real. You don't, so anything that you pick up when you're 7 or younger, you don't have the ability to control that. You know, one of the things that I did as I was healing, I would look back at things that I believed, that my father, for example, had said to me when I was growing up. And I'm like, how could I have been so stupid to have believed that? But you know, I was looking back at it as a 40-year-old, not as a 4-year-old, right? And so I believed things that I was embarrassed about. I'm embarrassed that I would believe that some of the things that he did to my body, that's how dads are. So we can't judge ourselves for that. The other thing that happens though is when these experiences happen when you're 7 or younger, they stick with us. They're embedded. It's kind of like if you take a sponge and there's water on the counter and you soak up the water. We don't have the ability to wring that out. It just stays with us until we actually actively clear it. Does that make sense to everyone? That makes sense?
Yes.
So when you think back to that experience with your mom and dad, was money a part of the discussion? Was money a part of the issue that was going on with them?
Um, in a way, yes, because he was the primary caregiver. I mean, not um,
Provider.
bread. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And yes.
Okay. So not that men have to be the primary providers. A lot of women are, but there's also a cultural belief in our culture and around the world that you have to be the man and you have to stand up and you have to take care of your family, right?
Mhm.
And that's a lot of pressure. That's also a lot of pressure on a 6-year-old. And can you see that in some ways you're responding to money and the effects of the stress that the money stress that you have? You're responding in some ways as a 6-year-old. And I'm not putting you down, I'm not criticizing you, but can you understand how that you're responding as a 6-year-old? Do you think I'm
Uh,
right with that?
yes, if I may, there's something interesting that happened, if I may share, after uh, my father struck my mom. She didn't utter a word. The only thing she asked him was, why did he hit her? And then she took me by the hand, took me to her room, locked the door, and made me promise never to hurt or abuse a woman. And so I made that promise, and that's when she allowed help to come and pick her away. So just want to kind of like add that to our discussion, so
Yeah. So when they came and took your mom, did they take you too?
no, I was left behind.
Yeah, okay. So how do you feel about that?
That's the first time anyone have asked that question, and I don't know how. I don't. I just presently just made a promise to my mom because didn't like what happened, and I wanted to honor her by making that promise to her, even though I was 6 or 7.
So feel into your body right now.
Hmm.
What what are you feeling in your body? What are you feeling in the area that's below your heart but above your belly button?
It's it's heavy, almost nauseating, if you will.
Mhm.
And it's just like a new experience because I haven't been on this receiving end before.
Okay.
Because yeah, I've always been the one who's telling the story, but not really deconstructing the context.
Okay. I'm not going to let you sit in this, okay? We're going to clear that out, but I want to explain to everyone how you create your reality. And there's a lot of confusion out there about this, and nobody's really telling you the whole story. You've all heard, I'm assuming you've all heard, thoughts create your reality. Who's heard that? Right. Okay, well that's true sort of, but it's not the whole picture, and it's a minor piece of the picture. Did you all download the worksheets that I sent to you? Toward the end of those worksheets, let's see. Christine, do you have the worksheets? Could you just pop that in the chat if you don't mind? And so the way that it works, I'll walk you through this, but toward the end of those worksheets, I tell you about the 4 points of power. There are 4 components to your point of power. And if they're all going off in different directions, you don't get what you want. You want to get them all, the four components lined up in a point, like an arrow, like you're going to shoot an arrow. So your point of power comes in, there are four of them in two pairs. The first pair, thank you, Christine. The first pair, the weaker pair, is the combination of your thoughts and your emotions. Emotions are different than feelings. So obviously we all know what thoughts are, right? Your emotions are in your head. They're not in your body. Think of it like this. If you're driving down the road and all of a sudden somebody cuts you off and you slam on the brakes, and maybe your kid's in the car and you reach your hand over and you start looping in your head, and you've got these thoughts that are going and the feelings in your head, that jerk, and maybe something a little stronger than jerk, and you have that going. Okay, that's two components, and that's the first pair. The other two components, and there's a diagram in the worksheets if you want to take a look at this, but the other two components are the more powerful. They have more energy. That is your feelings, which are in your body, and those are related to your core beliefs. So, James, as you were going through these experiences with your parents at 6 years old, you started developing some core beliefs that aren't serving you. One of those beliefs may be that your mother was taken away for her protection, but you were left behind. This issue with your parents that led to all of this was related to money. Your dad was the primary provider. Your mother was being cared for. Your mother wasn't providing. Tell me if any of this is resonating with you. Your mother wasn't providing, so she was taken away and you were left there. Remember how money stress makes us, according to psychology today, makes you play small, makes you avoid risk. Now, if you're a 6-year-old and there's a battle going on in your home that leads to violence and blood and all that fear that's going on in the moment, that's setting up core beliefs that you have about yourself, about money, about your worthiness for protection, about how you stand up or don't stand up because you're afraid. And by the way, as a 6-year-old, you shouldn't be standing up. That's not your job. It's not your job. But when we look back, I don't know how old you are, but remember I said, I would look back with my 40-year-old self at what I did in the moment as my 4-year-old self, and I would judge that girl who didn't know that her father was lying to her. So you're probably, and I'm speaking to James, but I'm speaking to all of you, think about how this applies to your life. Are you looking back at your younger self and judging you with your older mind, what you did when you were a child? And in those moments when you were developing your core beliefs about yourself, about safety, about money, about the provider, because you're feeling like if you don't provide, you're going to let people down. All of that comes from your 6-year-old self, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So before we move on, do you have any questions? I'm not going to let you see those feelings, but I want to make sure you understand where we've gone.
Yes.
All
yes,
right.
It's resonating.
Okay. So this, by the way, have you taken more than one shower in your life?
Yes.
Have you brushed your teeth more than once?
Yes.
Okay. So my point of that is this is not a one-shot deal. All right. This is a new way of being. And I'm going to teach you some things. And For everyone who stays to the end, I've got a gift that I'm going to give everyone that will help all of you clear this energy, okay? But we're going to do a little mini one right now with you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so everyone, if you want to play along, close your eyes, take a nice breath, and as you exhale, let it all drain out of your body, all of the fear, the stress. Take another nice deep breath. And as you exhale, let all of that energy, the nausea, the fear, the frustration, whatever you're feeling, just let it drain down into the earth, out of your body. And above your head, I want you to see with your inner eyes this big stream of liquid gold light. It's not just light, it's liquid. This liquid can get into every little nook and cranny, more than light can. So see that liquid gold light above your head from source, from the cosmic consciousness. See it pouring down through the crown of your head, down into your head, in your eyes, your mouth, your ears, your throat. And it's getting into every nook and cranny, down into your shoulders, down into your heart, and your solar plexus. Just feel it flowing down into your arms and your fingers. And if you know where your sacral chakra is, it's kind of in the middle of your back, between your hips, behind your belly button. That's where our security rests. Our safety, feelings of safety rest. Flood that with that liquid gold light. It's filling every single particle of your being. Down through your hips, your root chakra, your legs, and your feet. Every cell is filled with the liquid gold light. Every strand of DNA, every organ, every single particle, even the particles that we don't have names for yet because they haven't been discovered, filled with this liquid gold light. And see this liquid gold light expanding outside of your body, expanding, filling the room that you're in, filling your bank account, filling your home. Every part of your life is being touched. And now I want you to take a piece of sacred geometry, a pyramid, and place that one over yourself, completely encompassing your body. And now enclosing your life. This sacred piece of geometry, this pyramid, has protective energy. There have even been scientific studies done that shows that it prolongs life, changes cells. So everything is filled with a liquid gold light. Everything is surrounded by the pyramid. And now I want you to take that liquid gold and I want you to surround both of your parents. You may not be in a place, and it's perfectly fine, it's perfectly normal. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't want you to rush this. I don't want you to rush forgiveness, but at the very least, surround them with light. Surround your relationship with each of them individually and with the three of you jointly. Just surround the entire relationships with liquid gold light. Gold is the energetic signature of love, and the liquid permeates everything. Before you come back, just feel the energy that is now radiating in your body. Radiating throughout every part of your body. And I'm going to invite you to come back into the room. So how about that area below your heart? Does it feel any different?
Feels lighter.
Okay. Okay. I'd like you to do this more. And as I said, for everyone who stays to the end, you'll get it's actually about a 30-minute recording. I tuned into all of you today to see what you needed. So I've created this for you. So everyone who stays to the end will get that. And James, I would like you to do that at least once a day, every day for the next 30 days.
Okay.
And you can do it I'm talking to all of you, you can do it the full 20, I think it's 27 minutes maybe, but in the beginning, there's a little shorty, right? So let's say you've only got 3 or 4 minutes. You can do it quickly in the moment. Like something happens, you get triggered, you can do it in the moment to clear that energy out, right? And so for those of you who haven't gone to, and Janet, we're going to start with you in just a second, but for those of you who haven't gone through the direct experience like James did, you can listen to the recording and do it again for yourself. And James, also, I'm going to recommend to you, go deeper. I first came up with this process, gosh, probably 10 or 15 years ago. And even now, things will come up. Like I've cleared out most of it. But a couple of years ago, I was contemplating some things that weren't going the way I wanted them to go. And so I played this, I call it a game, the What's Under That game. I played this little game and I said, holy smokes, something came up for me in my relationship with my father. And I'm like, I cleared this years ago, but I hadn't cleared that piece of it. I wasn't ready to. Maybe it was too painful or whatever. So for all of you, this isn't a one and done kind of thing. This is like a shower. You can keep doing it. Okay. But the more you bring these up and you don't wallow in them, you don't go back and spend an hour reliving the trauma of that moment, but you let it come up so you can clear it because we've repressed it. You said this was the first time anyone has ever asked you about your experiences and how you felt. You need to let that out because the more you suppress something, the more you resist it, the stronger it is. It's kind of like a bar fight. You go in and somebody pushes you and you push back. Well, when you push back, they want to push harder, right? Well, it's kind of like that with these experiences. The more we push them down, the more they want to push back. Was that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so keep doing it, all right?
Okay, will do.
Okay.
Thanks.
I love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Janet, are you ready?
I should be a little more than terrified, but
What was that?
No, it was exquisite to watch. And like, I really felt that for James. So I said at the beginning, I'm all in. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so tell me again, I remind everyone, I might cut you off, but tell me about your money situation.
Well, I'm currently living now 2 years on my own, and I'm trying to do it on my own, but I'm living off of savings and inheritances and things like that. I make a little, I make enough to get by, but I'm also building my business. So that's the struggle, but I'm not homeless or hungry.
Okay. So when you say you're doing it on your own, what does that mean?
That means my husband moved out 2 years ago, and I'm paying all the bills except for my mortgage, which he still graciously pays.
Okay. And how do you feel about all this?
I really want to do it. I want to make it on my own.
Okay. And why is that important to you?
I asked myself the same thing over the weekend. I guess because I'm 60 and I've never made it on my own. I've always lived with somebody and been in a partnership, and I've never done it on my own. I don't know why that's important to me. You're going to tell me.
You're going to tell you.
I'm going to tell me.
So what do you think it says about you that you've never done it on your own?
Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is I'm blessed beyond measure that I've always been supported, and I've never had to do it on my own. So I don't like, it's a twisted, like, why am I looking for the anguish? Like, oh, I hate that word. I should feel just blessed in gratitude, but I don't know why it's important, because it's
Okay.
something I've not done yet.
Okay. So no shoulds. There are no
I
shoulds.
know.
You've done nothing wrong. Okay. So tell me what you're feeling in your body. Feel around in your body and tell me what you're feeling in your body.
Just a little heart, but everything else is kind of chill at the moment.
Okay. What are you feeling in your heart?
Just a tenderness, actually.
Okay. Tender, like you need to give yourself a break?
I like how you framed that. I'll sit with that, because that's that's the answer. Like, yes, forgiveness. And yeah.
Okay. So what does it say about you that you've not done it on your own? What what goes on in your head, and what are you feeling as I ask this question? What are you feeling right now in your solar plexus?
Well, it's funny that you even targeted that area, because in the last 6 months, my body in that area has just been screaming. And as I come upon 60, I have every reason to believe that it could be systemically physiological, but I refuse to believe that. So when you said that sacral is safety and security, I was like, she nailed it. Because that's what I feel like. I say to myself, I should be able to do this on my own.
Okay. And what does it say about you if you don't do it on your own?
James, when she asked you these questions, did you just hear words pop into your head? When you said that, I know, like, I don't know if it's God or my subconscious or whatever, Strength was a huge word for me growing up, and I'm living alone in my Jay Shetty monastery. I've been doing a lot of work surrounding that, realizing that that has not served me well. But that's what came to mind when you asked me that question. It was like, if I can't do it on my own, I must not be strong.
Okay. And what happens if you're not strong? What does that say about you, or what happens to you?
Absolutely nothing.
What are you afraid happens to you, or that it says about you?
It's just not serving me. It's not anchored in anything. It's a conditioning term that I just need to let go of.
Well, that's kind of like a should. Just let it go. So let's not go there. You said that when you were young, strength and being strong was something. Tell me about that, please.
Just lots of examples of my father was exemplified strength of character, integrity, service, just a really stellar man. My mother was very weak. I perceived her as being very weak and manipulative. When my father died and I was 18, the epitaph that I chose for his stone was, "May his strength be our guidance." Like, it was that big of a deal. He was a polio survivor. He just was that guy. And it worked for him, but it worked for me for a really long time.
So when you say your mother was weak, tell me about that.
She just was.
What effect
She-
did that have on you? Why do you care?
Why do I care that she was weak?
Yeah. Like,
She was,
for example, a kitten is weak, right? The kitten is weak, but we love the kitten in part for that.
yeah, it caused a lot of, it did cause a lot of dissension within the family, because I think some of her weakness came out argumentatively because of her fear and things like that. Some of it surrounding money, of which, looking back, there was no reason for it to, but her insecurity caused it to be an issue.
Okay.
And it just wasn't.
Okay. So do you think it's possible that, well, first of all, do you understand that we pick up other people's fear? Like, I can pick up what's going on with people because in part, when I was growing up, it was a survival technique for me. But I now use it to understand where people are. But everyone is a receptor for everyone else. I mean, you can even pick up fear when you're in utero. Before you're ever born, you can pick this up. So do you understand that you might have picked some of that up from your mom?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I'm also adopted and I know my biological mother. And I was born when she was 17 in a Jewish household. And oh my gosh, in 1963, you just did not. Jewish girls did not have babies out of wedlock. So it's funny, how much fear can one little embryo endure, right? I know, I just learned that too. Anyway, that's fascinating that you even bring that up. Yeah, I think her reaction to fear surrounding money and depression. I was still am a very highly sensitive child. And I'm sure now that you say that, it would make sense that I took that on as my own.
Right. So when I was finishing up with James, you heard me say that what we push against only gets stronger. So as you push against being weak, would you say that you have a little bit of contempt for your mother? Your adoptive mother? Contempt for her weakness?
If I may be so bold, I did. I won't say it's completely gone, but she came to live with me the last 18 months of her life during COVID and all of that. She was not thriving. And we did actually come to terms with a lot of things. So I would like to say that forgiveness has at least begun. I won't say it's ever done, but it's way further along than it was. And she actually died. The way in which she died, she was the strongest human I've ever seen. So
Okay.
it was this very poetic dichotomy of reframe.
Okay. If I could suggest that there's probably residual left from that, you experienced all this as you were growing up. You had such powerful admiration for your father and his strengths. I heard you say, when you said your mother was weak, I heard some contempt there. And I don't want to be that. So people say all the time, look, I want to manifest $1 million. Why am I manifesting thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt? Because your fear attracts that. Remember that picture that I showed? Think of it as little filaments of energy, like little spider webs going out into the world. And so if you're sitting here in contempt or fear, and I'm talking to Janet, but I'm talking to everyone, if you're sitting here in that, what's happening is your world is receiving these little filaments of energy, and they're attaching to things that are a match. So this is going out, filaments of fear. And this over here is something to fear. Ooh, I grab it. It's like, well, I don't want that. I want the good stuff. When your feelings, your lower frequency energy is stronger than what you want, you're going to get what you don't want. That's how it works. Whether you call it God or Source or Allah, it doesn't matter. Whether I call it the cosmic consciousness, it doesn't matter what you call it. It does not discriminate. It gives you what you ask for. So you have to ask in the right way. And the way that you ask is by getting your 4 components of your point of power in alignment so that you're shooting your arrow toward what you want, not toward what you don't want. So right now, you've got, I want to be powerful and I want to take care of myself. And those are going here. I don't think they're completely in alignment in their joint point, but they're kind of going here. And then you've got this over here. I feel contempt for people who are weak and not powerful. I feel fear. And so your 4 components are going in different directions. You're giving, it's kind of like you go into a restaurant. And instead of sitting down and saying, I want the most delicious medium rare steak that you could possibly make, and I want a lovely Caesar salad, and I want my anchovies on the side, and I want a little bit of extra dressing, and could you please put some really crisp asparagus on the side, drizzled with lemon oil. And you're tasting that in your mouth and you're feeling it in your body, and you can see that plate arriving. You're not doing that. You're going in and you're saying to the cosmic waiter, can you bring me some food? I don't really like spaghetti. I do like steak, but bring me food. And so the cosmic waiter is just bringing you food, and you're getting a mixed bag. Does that make sense? So how are you feeling in your body right now?
Neutral.
Okay. Okay. What I would like you to do is download the guided process that you're going to get at the end. Download that, and I'd like you to do it tonight before you go to bed. Actually, I recommend all of you download it, do it tonight before you go to bed. And remember when I led James through the surrounding his parents with the liquid gold? I would like you to do that with both of your parents individually, even your dad that you had admiration for. Do it with them individually and do it for the three of you. And I would actually include your birth mom in that as well.
And Dad. I know them all. It's
Okay.
a great
Okay.
story.
And if her fear was coming from her parents, you may not even know them, but you can energetically call them in. I would include them as well, because I think there's some prenatal effect going on with you. Okay.
Thank you.
So when Christine and I envisioned this little event for tonight, we wanted to do it in a couple of ways. One is we wanted to help you clear out, and again, speaking to all of you, help you understand how to find what your personal blocks to money and success are. And by the way, is anyone feeling like they need to ask a question or two about that before we move on? Anyone want to raise their hand and just ask a question or two? Fiona?
Hi, Deborah. I just want to know how you delineate the difference between feelings and emotions.
Okay.
Specifically.
Great question. So as I said, there's a little diagram in those worksheets toward the end. But your feelings are in your body. Like when I was talking about James and Jana, I could feel James as I could feel his nausea. I could feel that. So those are feelings that are in your body. Some people feel it like on their shoulders. Some people feel it, in the core of their body, wherever that is. And then emotions are in your head. They're attached to your thoughts. So the easiest way to do it is to think about negative emotions, right? As I said, you slam on your brakes when you get cut off by the driver and you've got them, they're looping in your head. Or have you ever had a situation where somebody's just made you so mad and you can't let it go, and you have this conversation going in your head and you're giving them hell and you're telling them what you think of them? Those emotions in your head are connected to the thoughts that you're thinking. That's one pair. And then the core beliefs, the beliefs that you've picked up that reside in your body that you often don't even know they exist, those are attached to your feelings. And you have a core belief that is out of sync with what you say you want in your life is if you're feeling a negative feeling in your body. Okay? And you have to get in tune with noticing those, because we've been taught to suppress our feelings. How many of you grew up in homes like I do? If you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. You suppress those feelings. Your whole world is exploding, but don't you feel it? Don't you express any emotion, right? So we've been taught your body, the reason you have this in your body is to be a sensor. And we've been conditioned over thousands of years to suppress that. So we still have a little bit of it, like have you ever had the hairs raised on the back of your arm or, like here? Okay, so we have a tiny bit of it left, but your body is actually a sensor for danger, both physical danger that's out there in the world, an animal's going to eat you, right? Or emotional or your inner danger by something that's happening that's out of alignment with what you want. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks. So the feelings are more the visceral kinesthetic side of things.
Right. In your body. In your
Yeah,
body.
cool. Thank you.
So when Christine and I envisioned this event, we wanted it to be an experience, and we wanted your everything starts with your frequency. Whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to heal your body, whether you want to make more money, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you eat. It doesn't matter the supplements or the medicine you take. Everything starts in your body. It starts with your frequency. So that's where we wanted to start tonight. We wanted you to start identifying what's blocking your money and success. We wanted you to learn how to find it at the depth, not cut the tops off of the weeds, but actually pull them out at the root. And we wanted you to be able to do that for yourself. So that's why we started where we are tonight. But we also wanted to take you into the practical of, all right, I run a business, or I want to increase my revenue out in the world. What are some easy things that I can do? And that's where my beautiful friend Christine is so brilliant. She's far better at this than anyone I know. So I want to turn it over to her. I am going to put in the chat if anyone would like more help from me. I created a little special offer. I'm not going to give you a sales pitch. It's 100% up to you, but I put in the chat. I have an offer for you. It's dramatically reduced, and just for those of you who are here tonight, I've taken an additional 20% off the reduced price. So take a look. If you have any questions, my email is in that worksheet at the end. You can email me. Whether we work together or not, I love you all. I do. And I wish you the greatest success in everything. And now, Christine, I ran over my time.
No, you were
keep my mouth.
fine. Absolutely. I'll be speaking on behalf of probably a few people here. That was just absolutely beautiful. And man, both Janet and James, I feel so connected to your hearts, and James especially. You know what? You have a gift, my friend. You have the most beautiful, luminescent presence, and maybe it was because you tapped into that 7-year-old, 7-year-old child. But what a beautiful presence I felt, and I'm sure many people here felt as well. So thank you for those gifts from both Janet and James. Thank you for your gifts of also being open to share that with us. That is very strong. That is very brave, and that is very courageous. And so many of us. I'm going to put. I'm putting the non-video participants up because I just need to see kind of all who's in the room. But as Deborah was saying, so much of what has happened to us, or what did happen to us in childhood, stays with us. I don't know. I'm going to be, listen, November I'll be turning, how old will I be? I'll be turning 59 in November, and then the next year is going to be the big one, right? But I don't feel 59. I remember as a kid looking at people. I mean, my grandparents were, my grandma was like in her 60s or something, and I thought that was so old. It seemed so old, but I don't feel old. Sometimes I've got little, things going on physically. My glasses keep getting thicker. My wife and I have a joke with my wife that I'm turning into that movie Up, that with I'm turning into that guy. I am looking like the Up guy. For those that don't, look it up, you'll see. Just look it up, you'll see. Because my glasses are getting thicker, but inside I don't feel like that. I still feel like that goofy 4-year-old. I was a little tomboy. I was just Christine, right? I wasn't this or that. I was just Christine. And so many things that happen when we're young do stay with us. It's like a print, it's like an imprint, right? And you got all these imprints, and you got, mine was my dad would say, "You're too goddamn sensitive." And I was like, what does that mean? Because I didn't understand that just being a child, you are open and receptive and you feel things, you connect, you have empathy, right? And so those messages, right? Those things that happen to us on the playground. I remember, and I don't know if I had conveyed this to you, Deborah. Deborah, I'm a coach. I'm an expert authority coach, and I help businesses get their brand out, which their brand is you. That's why it's really important to clear these things, because it doesn't matter. You could have the greatest product since sliced bread, but if you have all those doubts going and you have that desperation, I got to pay my bills and I got to, people are going to smell it and they're going to run away. So I work on you communicating your brilliance, your talent with the world in the best, easiest, simplest, funnest way. That's basically what I do. But when I was a kid, I remember, and I couldn't really understand why I didn't have a lot of trust in people. And trusting people is a lot like trusting the universe or trusting God or life, whatever you want to consider it, right? It's having trust. And I flashed back just recently to a time when I was probably in kindergarten, my first time around kindergarten, because actually I flunked kindergarten. Yes, I did. I had to go back. I had to do it twice. I'm so grateful for that. But I remember, those teeter-totters? Teeter-totters, they call them teeter-totters? Or seesaw? I don't know what they're calling them. But anyway, it works. It's a big board. And in those days, this was like, the early 70s. They were not the most comfortable things. It was probably just a big board and didn't even have a nice seat on it. It was just a board. And then you had like something in the middle. And what it was is, as long as you have two people, one on each end, right, pushing up, and the other person goes down, and then the other way goes this way, it's actually quite fun. It's like, wee, this is awesome. This is great. But what happened was, when I got up in the air, this little girl, and I don't know who she was, but this little girl decided she was going to do something funny, and she jumped off. So as she's down here, she jumped off. Well, what happened? What do you think happened? I crashed down. I really hurt my whole, what is that, sacral area. I mean, I didn't go to the hospital, but I probably should have. I didn't want to tell anybody because I was embarrassed. And, she laughed and other kids laughed, and I just sucked it up. But I remember from that point, there was a little note taker. Okay. Note to self. Do not trust people. Now, as grown-up Christine, as grown-up Fiona, as grown-up Janet, as grown-up James, we could say, oh, well, that was just a thing that happened on the playground. But as we know, as Deborah was talking about, and we internally kind of know this already, those things stick with us. And so if I don't trust people and I don't trust the universe, how am I going to go out there and tell people about the amazing work that I do and how I can help them and how I can change their lives if I don't trust the process, right? So I thought I already knew that what Deborah and I were doing together was powerful, but I think it's even more powerful when people can utilize both Deborah and my skill sets to really soar. Because once you get those blocks cleared, or you're working on clearing those blocks, then you can actually go for it and take your business. If it's your business that you want to revamp or launch, or your health or your relationships, then you can really go for the stars. Now, I saw somebody in the chat here, Nita. I had an accident as a kid on a revolving seat. Oh, see, what is up with that? What is up with that? I'm going to go to gallery view because in speaker view it's weird. It's hard to see. So here's the thing. Most of my clients, most of them are women in business who are overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed with life. They're overwhelmed with technology. They have a great product or service or program, but they don't know how to market it. They don't know how to let people know what it is that they do. Again, you could have invented the iPhone, but if you're living in your basement or if you're in your home office and you're not communicating, hey, this is pretty good stuff. If you're not communicating that with people, potential customers or clients, they're not going to know you exist. And as we know, I don't believe in competition and I don't believe in scarcity at all. But there's other people that have no problem letting people know what it is that they do. Right? You see them. You see them all the time. So what's the difference between them and you? Perhaps that limiting belief. But I will tell you, many of my clients, the things that they are dealing with are imposter syndrome. Does everybody know what imposter syndrome is? I really want to help people and I really want to be a life coach, and I really think that that's my calling. But who wants to listen to me? Who would take my advice? Who would pay me money to be their life coach? Who am I to say I'm this or that? Even people who have been through like therapy, major years and years of therapy, they still have that imposter syndrome. And if you have that imposter syndrome or the feeling of being unworthy of success, unworthy of a healthy body, unworthy of a happy relationship, if you're feeling unworthy, that is goo. And I call it the black goo. And for those that are in the healing arts, you may have experienced black goo. That's when you're working on a body. You could be not just touching them, you could be doing massage, but you're just around somebody, and this is black goo. It's like tar. It's just, it can be shame. It could be guilt. It could be feeling unworthy, unlovable, all of that. Well, that black goo, if you're saying, I don't understand why I'm not getting enough clients. I don't understand why I can't get a sale. What the hell is going wrong? I need to change the algorithm. That's right. I need to go on TikTok and I need to do this and we're spinning plates. Remember those old vaudeville acts? I think it was on the Ed Sullivan show or whatever. This is how old I am. But they'd have these sticks and they'd have a little white plate and a guy would spin it. And then he would have another stick and another plate and he'd spin it. And then he's got two plates and spinning on a stick. And then he goes and he gets 5 or 6 of them. That's what we're doing as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as authors, as coaches. We're spinning all these plates and we're hoping to God that the plates don't fall. Or we're taking our hand and putting it in a big thing of spaghetti and we're throwing it on the wall. And we're saying, well, what will stick? I'll change, the algorithm's changed, so let me try this. And okay, that didn't work, so let me try this. And we're trying all these things. That's why my clients are women in business who are overwhelmed with technology, marketing, all the things that they have to do to communicate their message. So if you have imposter syndrome or you have that feeling of being unworthy, unlovable, unworthy, that's a big hurdle to overcome. And that's why I recommend working with Deberah for the core stuff and then working with me for the zhuzhing up. That's my favorite word this year. Zhuzh. I want to zhuzh it up. And why is that? It's because my superpower is I only see the best in you. I can only see the best in you. I am an intuitive. Do I market myself like I'm, Cleo, whatever, the psychic Cleo? No, I don't market myself as a psychic or an intuitive. But I use all my intuitive skills when I'm talking with clients. And one of those intuitive powers is I see the things that you don't see. And we all are guilty of that. We're all guilty of just being in our little zone and we've got our blinders on and we're like, I'm a tax agent. I'm accountant. I'm an accountant. I'm an accountant. That's all I am. I'm an accountant. And I can meet with somebody and go, okay, yes, you're an accountant. That's what you do to pay the bills and do those things. But that's not where your passion is. What's your passion? Well, I have always wanted to do XYZ, but I gave that up because I have to be realistic. I know all about being realistic because I worked a full-time job while I started my coaching business. Because while I wanted to make that connection, that leap, that bridge, that jump, I was also going, I don't want to be little stressy pants because stress and that nervous energy is going to be on me like that black goo. So I was able to still work and develop and start creating my business. Not everybody does that. And not everybody has the ability or the luxury of doing that. But I believe that if you have something that you can do while you are building your dream, why not? If it's easy for you to do, if it's life draining, if you hate getting up on Mondays because this job that you have, part-time job or the current job or the whatever it is you're doing, if it's draining your life force, no, you need an escape hatch. That's not your space. Luckily, I had something that was creative and fun, and it allowed me to be creative and fun in creating my business. But if you have something, again, if there's something that Monday morning rolls around and you're dreading getting out of bed, it's time to make a change. So what is it that I love doing? Again, seeing the best in you. And if you're going to communicate what it is that you do, once you start working on clearing those blocks, right? Then we want to tap into the things that are easy and fun and that you're passionate about. Once we find what those are, we need to build that platform. We need to build that house. So I work with folks that, and I've had people that were very insecure and had imposter syndrome, had I hate the way I look. I can't be on video. I can't be on camera. I hate the way I look. I'm so old. Oh, I'm so this. And women more than men face that issue. I've never had a male client go, oh, I don't want to get on camera because look at these wrinkles. Oh, I'm so old. I look horrible. Never. Never. Every single male client that I've had, yep, no problem. I'll do it. Now, is that something in our culture maybe too, that we put so much emphasis on women having to look a certain way or be a certain age, Kim Kardashian? I don't know. The thing is that if you want to connect with your audience, if you want to connect with a potential client, customer, someone that you're going to provide service with, you need to connect with them. And the best way to connect with them, and I've said this to every single person I've worked with, one of the best ways is through video. Because if they go to your website and they read tons of text and you say, oh, Christine is the best thing. Oh, she's amazing. This, that, this, that. Okay, that's fine. They can read that. But there is no energy to that. There is no energy. And as we know, everything is energy. But if I'm able to look into the camera directly and say, I want to help you create a magnificent business, something that you love waking up to on Mondays, and you're excited about what you can create. And I'm going to tell you what is the best about you so that we can bring that out and tell other people and tell potential clients. But I'm also going to say, this is where things are kind of falling flat. Your website doesn't make any sense. It goes too long. You're talking about yourself, but you need people that you've worked with, clients, customers. You need their testimonials. You need to go on video and communicate, because also when people can look in your eyes, they can feel you. They can know if you're like a shifty, like, sinister, right? And they feel your energy. The main thing that you want to think about is your brand. Your brand is not necessarily the product, the course. Your brand is you. You just experienced Deberah Bringelson, who I adore. And I have had a session with her. And it wasn't so much about the program, right? It's because of her, because I like her. I trust her. And when you're opening up and you're saying this was what it was like in my household at 5, you have to trust that person. So her brand, and she could trademark all the things she wants, her brand is her. Same thing with me. Are there other business coaches out there? Hell yeah, there's thousands of them, millions of them probably. I don't know. But there's nobody like me. There's nobody like me. There's no one that's had the experience that I've had, that has the empathy that I have, that has the intuition that I have, that has the 25 years in media, 20 in radio, producing, being a guest, being a host, being a fundraiser, sales. I could sell you anything as long as I believe in it. And I have to really believe in it in order to sell it. It's my integrity. I will not go on air. I will not promote anything that I do not 100% believe in or use or think can benefit humanity. I won't do it. If you said, here, Christine, sell Coca-Cola, because we'll give you $1 million. I'll go. I'll be broke before I do that, because I know it's not good for people. It's not good for the world, really. But that's because that's my integrity. So are there other business coaches, media coaches? Yes. There's nobody like Christine. Also, my trademark is not only that I use my intuitive superpowers, but my trademark is I like to keep things simple, easy, and fun. If it's simple, easy, and fun, you're going to learn and you're going to try little steps. And each little step that you just like a baby, right? You don't, as an infant, you don't just all of a sudden stand up and then do a marathon. You try and get up and you fall on your bum. You fall, maybe sometimes you fall, you crack your head, and you're like, oh, whoa, you learn how to get up, and then you learn how to balance, and you learn how to walk. Well, I like to keep things very simple and easy and fun, because when it's fun and it's easy, it's easier to absorb. You can do a little bit. You have success. Oh, I could take another step. Oh, I had another success. I have all these successes. So then the next thing, when I ask, okay, now we're going to create a promotional video for you, a branding video for you, so that you can put it on your website and tell the whole world how great you are and what you do and what you bring to them. With all those little baby steps that you've done, that's going to be just another baby step, of course. So that's what I love doing. And I love seeing the progression. And I love working with people. I have a client. She's not here with us today. Who's 76 now? 76 years. She had a brick and mortar healing practice, successful, although brick and mortar, people had to go to her in Los Angeles. And she is such a gifted Reiki master that I said, you know what? You need to be connecting with people and helping people outside of Los Angeles, outside of this particular area of Los Angeles. And she's a Reiki master and a master hypnotherapist for like 25 years. She's helped people stop smoking, lose weight, heal from so many things. And I said, one of the best platforms for you is to create a podcast and YouTube channel. Because through the art of podcasting and YouTube, you can reach people on a global platform that you would never, ever be able to reach with your little printed flyers and mailing things out and all of that. So she took my podcast and YouTube coaching program. Again, remember, 76. She had a little bit of technophobia. She was like, I don't know about all this stuff. It's going to be hard. I said, I will keep you, trust me, I will keep it easy and simple and fun. She did the 4 weeks, so in less than a month. And now she has told me she has over 70 episodes podcast. So she's on Apple, Spotify, all those great places. And those are also on YouTube. She's got the video version of them. So she's got over 70 episodes. She's interviewed Pat Benatar. She's just getting started. 76. But she's beautiful and she always tells people, and I've got her testimonial. It's a video, and I've got the video and audio version of her testimonial. And she says, my dreams have come true because Christine told me that I could do it and gave me the courage to do it. I just actually gave her the tools and taught her in a way that can sink in. She knows how to record. She knows how to edit video. Do you know how powerful that is? Because she can create all kinds of videos, not just her podcast, right? She can edit video. She can publish it. She knows how to publish it on podcast platforms. She knows how to publish it on YouTube. She knows how to use social media, TikToks and old Instagram reels. And now she can reach a global audience. And that's possible for everyone here. There is nobody here that is limited and cannot reach a global audience. Now, if you have a brick and mortar, if you have a pizza place in a particular city, then you're going to have a little bit different marketing. You may not do something that is with a global outreach, but you can be very smart in your marketing, and there's things that you can do, especially with your local chamber, your networking groups. You need to get out there. Everybody that has a business, if you're a coach, consultant, or brick and mortar, you still need to get out there and you need to let people know that you exist. So I would love to find out. Now, I just saw a comment in the chat. I didn't want to. Oh, darling, Christine has done awesome branding videos for some of my friends. Yes, I have, and they are really good. They are really fun. The main thing is that imposter syndrome or feeling unworthy will truly keep your business from being a success. And you could throw all the money at marketing and advertising. You could throw it all there, and it's not going to hit with people because they can feel it. I don't know if you've ever, like some dogs, they can feel when somebody's not a good person. They'll either stay away from them, they'll crowd, they'll go in the corner, or they'll growl. Or I had a toy poodle, my beautiful Bodie, black toy poodle, for 16 years, my best friend in the whole world. This little dog, everybody loved, and she loved everybody. She would spin around and be so happy. She wasn't a little barker or anything. She was just the cutest dog ever. And I remember one day we were at the beach and she saw this guy walking, just walking kind of close to us. And I heard her growl. And I have never heard her growl. So I just like picked her up and just walked the other way and just said, okay, well, your potential audience, customers, clients, they're like that, My Little Bodhi. They can sense it. They can feel when you're desperate. They can feel it. They can see it. And even though you may not be thinking that, it's happening. So definitely you want to work with Deberah. If you want to work with Deberah and work with me at the same time, I would love that. But I'm about bringing out the best in you and holding you accountable, because we've all done that self-help or shelf-help thing where we've gotten the latest course or program. We bought it, we've spent money on it, and it's sitting on a shelf, or it's sitting on your computer or sitting in an email. I've talked to people who have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on programs and courses. And I said, have you completed them? No. Why? Because I was excited and I had that impulse buy and I wanted to get it, and I loved what they promised, but they didn't follow through with it. It's kind of one reason why I don't really offer courses where people just do it alone. I have some things that people could, the do it yourself, DIY, do it yourself kind of thing. But you know what? You're not going to have success with that. Because even though we like to think, I'm motivated, I will do it, I'll do that 30-day challenge, I'll do it. Many of us, life takes, I need to fix my, okay. We get sidetracked. So I have accountability programs where I work with people and I hold you accountable. And that means each and every week we meet, I give you a project, or I give you I don't even like to call it homework. I give you something to do, and I keep you accountable for that. Accountability is really important because it keeps you on track with your goals. When you knock down your goal, you can have your next goal. Boom. But don't be like the people that throw pasta on the wall, or they're spinning a million different plates, because chances are you're going to break those plates, or you're going to wake up and you're just going to have crap on the wall and things are not going to get done. Don't overwhelm yourself. That's one of the most important things that I can say to you. Don't overstretch yourself and overwhelm yourself. Start with the foundation of the house. If you have a business, and especially if you're a coach or a consultant, if you provide service, you have to start with the foundation. That means building the brand, which is you. So work on building your brand. Who are you? What's amazing about you? It might even be creating like a media one sheet that you can hand out to potential customers or clients or podcast hosts or TV shows to say, hey, I want to come on your show and tell you all about my blah, 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 blah. But you need something that is absolutely pinpoints what it is. Here it is. What it is that you're good at, your high points, and ways, of course, to contact you, but also that you've done this, you've played in this rodeo before. Okay? If you have any positive reviews, if you've been featured anywhere, you want to make sure that you tell people about that. You start with the foundation, which is you, the brand. And if you don't feel confident in yourself, or you have imposter syndrome, or you're confused because you've got so much spaghetti on the wall, think about what your potential client or customer is going to be feeling. They're going to go, what? Foundation is your brand, you, and that includes a website or a landing page. I know a lot of people go, oh, I don't know, I don't want to have a website. How are people supposed to find out about you? And don't just send them to your Facebook page. You want to have a landing page or a website that people can find out about you. More importantly, a way so that they can pay you, so they can book time with you. I offer a strategy session, a free strategy call for people, first time folks, because I need to get to know them. And in that time, I'll know if I want to work with them, and they'll know if they want to work with me. But it's so valuable. That time is so valuable. Just because you go to my website and you read what I can do and what I've done, that doesn't mean you're going to fork over money to me. You need to have that conversation with me and to trust me, but you need to see me. That's the importance of being seen, of meeting people face to face. It doesn't have to be in person. It could be face to face on Zoom. But we want to build that foundation. We want to build up the brand, which is you, the website, your social media, whatever that you have out there. And then we start developing your wow factor. What's the wow factor? The wow factor is what makes you unique. I've got a thing of, there's just a couple things that you need to do in order to be successful. One of them is if you can motivate people, if you can educate people, if you can inspire people, or if you can entertain people. There are some unicorns out there that can do all of that. And those people are killing it, or they should be, if they get out of their own way. But those are the things. If you're able to educate, inspire, motivate, entertain, that is pure gold. And you have something that's very valuable that you can write on and you can create. So I can see, let's see, I can do some of those, but not a great entertainer. From Mita. You know what? If you've got one of those things that you are exceptional at and you love doing, then you're way ahead of the game. You're way ahead of the game. Let's see. I want to open it up at this point for just quick questions on this aspect. Debbie, Lily Rose, Debbie, did you have a question or a comment?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Well, not question, but in regards to what you were saying, that I'm a member of the boot camp.
She's a member of my mastermind boot camp. Yes.
Yes, and I had some things happening lately. I did my medium one sheet, then I went on matchmaker.fm and filled that form out, and then I got the courage to contact Barnes and Noble. And then the next morning they contacted me and they said that my book is going to be in the store with a local artist. So that's a big deal to be in a mortar store. That just happened. So it's like this it's called The Spiritual Path: How to Create Heaven on Earth. And my pen name Lily Rose. So so
I just got full goosebumps all down. Oh, wow.
So excited, so happy. Yeah. Just wanted to let you know.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, Debbie is one of a member of my. It used to be called the Boss AF Boot Camp. It is now the Own Your Power Mastermind, and that also that's leading us into a little bit for people who want to work with us. I know Deberah Bringelson has something special. But I figured also, since Debbie had mentioned that, for those of you who are interested in having a conversation with me first, I will make sure I put in the chat a way for you to have a strategy call with me. It's absolutely free. I record it because, again, I'm using my intuition as I'm talking to you. and you can tell me a little bit about what you're doing, what you want to do, and then I'll give you my guidance, whatever I'm seeing, what needs to be done, right away. And then if you're interested in having that accountability, but at an insane price, because my individual coaching sessions, my one-on-one coaching sessions, some people say, "Ooh, I don't know if I can afford that on a regular basis." So the mastermind is really lovely because each and every 2 weeks we get together, and I bring in experts from self-publishing, publicists, social media. Who was the a charm expert too? I think it was the charm expert. Your personal charm. So I bring in all these different experts, but also I do semi-private coaching during these sessions that we have, the masterminds. And so I will put up the information on the mastermind. I do not normally do this either. You're already grandfathered in, Debbie Chaddock. You're already grandfathered in at the low rate. But it's $111 per month, and I will put the link in and give you the promo code. But if you use promo code half off, it's half off. So it's $55 a month, which is insane. And that's good for for however long you're with the mastermind. So I'll put that information in, and those are a couple different ways you can work with me. You can, of course, do some of the podcast coaching programs that I have and all that good stuff. But I first need to have that strategy call with you to understand what it is that you do and the easiest way to get you there. I think that would be really, really good. If you want to book that in with me, you can pick a day and time that's best for you. But I'm going to throw it over now to Deborah. Deborah, do you want to talk about your special thingy?
Sure. And wow, Christine, that was awesome. And let me just tell you, I think you're amazing. I mean, I love all of the work that you do and all of the things
darling.
from you. So you are just amazing. But yeah, I would definitely agree with Christine that you want to do things out there in the world, and that's where a lot of people go first. But clearing your frequency first sets you up for exponential success. And I know I have a couple people in the room, and I don't know if you want to comment, but when you're out there in the world, you're striving or you're struggling, and when you set your frequency, it makes things easy and joyful and fun, and that's what I'm all about. And so I did put a link in the chat. One thing I did forget to mention is the coupon code, so that I've already discounted it dramatically. And I am right there with you, Christine. I don't like those, and it's all the rage right now. Oh, just create an online class, and then you don't have to really deal with people. Well, first of all, I love the dealing with people part. I mean, that's the fun part for me. And my experience is that when you don't, and this sounds a little arrogant, and I don't mean it that way, but when people have access to me, their results are much more significant. So included in the program that I'm offering, it's 21 days, but included in that 21 days, there are 4 90-minute sessions with me. And I charge $3,000 an hour. And so I'm basically giving those sessions away because I am 100% committed to your results. Because, look, I do this. People say, well, why are you interested? Why do you do this? Because I believe in making the world a better place. I've done that my entire life. I've created programs in the criminal justice system to get mothers out of the system for abused children. That was where I started my career. And now I've moved into this area where I'm trying to help people shift their lives, because you know what? If I help you shift your life, how many people are you going to touch? Which just feels really amazing to me. So I'll put the link in there one more time. The intention is for you to totally change your relationship to money within 21 days. I'm doing so much. Joan, are you saying you want to make a comment? Okay, Joan, jump in.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I worked with Deborah, and oh my gosh, thank you so much. Frequency is everything, and we did one-on-one where it got to the bottom of so many issues that I mean, I healed from leukemia, right? So, getting to the bottom of what the stress was, and getting to the bottom of why my business wasn't flowing the way I wanted, and so thank you so much. I just want to say you're great. So thank you.
Thank you, Joan. And Joan, really, it's been amazing. Joan came to me a year ago and she said, I've had leukemia for what, 2 years? And she said, I don't want to do medication. I don't want to do chemo. And my oncologist keeps saying, you have to do chemo. And a couple of months ago, she showed up in class and said, my numbers are getting better. So and a month or so ago, didn't your doctor say you're healed?
Yeah, now the number, it doesn't say low or high. I'm just like fine, so I stabilized.
Yeah. So no chemo. You have the power all the power is within you. All of the power is within you. I don't care if you want $1 million in your bank account or $10 million in your bank account, or you want to heal your body or lose weight or whatever it is. All of the power is within you. And the way that I help you do that is get to the root of what it is that's stopping you. Because if you're not getting what you want, there's a block there. And we do practical tools to get you to, some of the exercises I have people doing, which fortunately they love them and I think they have fun with them. But we do these exercises and it gets to the root of what you want. Most people don't know what they want. And they're living an identity of someone who can't have what they say they want. So we get to the root of that. It's 21 days. And within that, we do 4 90-minute sessions. So you're welcome to jump on in. And anyone the coupon code is good through the end of the day, June 30th in the United States. That gives you an additional 20% off. It's already discounted for you. But anyone who books before the end of the day today, anyone, even if all of you do, anyone who books the end of the day today, I will give you a private one-on-one hour-long session. Normally, I charge $3,000 for that. And I'll throw that in because I like people who act fast. That tells me that my investment in you is something you're going to take seriously.
And your one-on-one sessions are magnificent.
Oh, thank you.
Very powerful. Yes, that is beautiful. That's valuable. So extremely valuable for people on so many different levels.
Thank you. And I'm also, for those of you who stayed until the end, as promised, I am going to put in the chat the link to the special clearing process that I did just for you. I tuned into you, whoever was going to be here tonight or listening on the recordings. I tuned into all of you and I created this special